Floss Tube. Hello crafty friends, how's everybody doing today? I'm recording in the floss room today. I thought you all might like a little sneak peek of a different space in the workshop here at Evertote. If you're new here, yesterday I sort of did a little reintroduction of myself and my channel. My name's Caroline, and I live and record here in London, Ontario, Canada. This is a floss tube video. I also am a knitter, so my videos tend to be sort of multi-craftual in bent. Today is all about stitching though. I do have some knitting to share, but I suspect I'll be sharing about that this weekend. It's quite harsh lighting in here. It's very, very bright fluorescent lighting, so I'm not sure how great that will pick up colors on the camera, but I'll pick up the camera and I'll just give you a little peek. Of course, the floss is all in, you can see the floss is all in boxes, so the stuff that I'll show you today, I've got a few hanks in front of me that I can take out and show you. So I'll just flip the camera around. You can see that I have lots of space in this room to expand for more colors. So those colors over there are colors that haven't been released yet. And there is a few hanks that are ready and waiting to be wound. So let me bring you back. That's my super, super fancy recording setup there. So you are perched on top of some rather pretty boxes. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about regarding this floss, my small business Evertote is the exclusive seller of the Leo&Roxy Yarn Co. Overdyed cotton cross stitch embroidery floss. So that's where I am today. I'm in the packing room. This is a Luna free zone. Luna is not allowed in this room, and we keep the lids on the boxes when we're not in packing mode. So there's also no windows. There are no outside windows in this room, so there's no sunlight. There's no nothing that would potentially damage the floss. So yeah, so it's kind of it's a pretty fun job, I have to say. No complaints. So I am on my coffee break, and remember I showed you my Luna mug yesterday? This is another John Valentine mug. I bought a pair sort of as a present to myself. When I moved to the shop and I opened up here, I ordered a couple of new mugs from John so that I would have them in my new space. Oh, the other thing is, now I can't eat in here. There's a no eating policy in this room, but I brought my snack in to show you because I was curious. These are a favorite cookie of mine. They're the maple leaf cookies. I think they're made by Dare Cookie Company. Are these only Canadian? Does anybody else have these in different countries? Maple leaf cookies? I don't know. Maybe you get them in the States. You always get everything else in the States. All the good, yummy treats, but we have some things up here in Canada that I know you can only get in Canada. So I was curious to know whether those maple cookies were exclusive to Canada. All right, so I've got just a few things to share with you today. Oh my goodness. Before I get into my whips, let me get to Deborah. I'm going to get back to Deborah's project that I shared yesterday. Okay, so I've got Deborah's letter here. Now, before I share it, this is a really sensitive subject for many women, many couples dealing with pregnancy loss, miscarriage. If this at the moment is not something that you want to hear about because you're dealing with your own trauma, just a heads up that you know, if you're not in a place right now to listen to Deborah's story, then maybe check back in 10 minutes. Okay, so Deborah's letter that she sent to me back at the beginning of June. She says, "Dear Caroline, the finish I'm showing you is my own design, made in honor of our sweet little baby boy I told you about back in March. Our baby suffered a chromosomal abnormality, trisomy 13 Pateau syndrome, which made him so ill we had to terminate the pregnancy. Past months have been hard and sad times for us, but we also were able to cherish lots of little treasures that came along our path. We were helped and comforted by our love for each other, our families, friends, colleagues, and caretakers. One way to find comfort in my grief was being creative and making my own design to commemorate our boy, our loss, but also the love we felt surrounding us. The piece is filled with symbolism: a stork flying away with our little treasure, forget-me-not flowers which we planted as a memory, a little angel that accompanied our baby boy on his last journey, the sun because he was born on the most beautiful sunny day in February, butterflies as they are often a symbol for pregnancy of infant loss, the sentence, for I'll keep your heart in mind because we found a lot of comfort in Kobe Grant's song Winter Bear, the two of us as mom and dad holding a small suitcase that we got from an organization that helps parents who experience pregnancy or infant loss. Pregnancy of infant loss. The piece I designed and stitched is an FFO now, and I want to use it as a way to tell our story. I want to tell our story so people that go through an experience like ours can reach out to us if they feel that this could help them. I was helped a lot by contacting friends who went through a similar situation. If they had not told their story in the past, I wouldn't have known we could reach out to them. That's so true, isn't it? Secondly, I'm thinking I've put the charted design up for sale to gift all of the proceedings to the organization that helped us. It is called the Bear Fawns, and it was founded by a couple that have lost a baby themselves. They work together with 80% of the Flemish hospitals to provide support to parents who lose a baby or young child. One of the things they offer is a suitcase that is filled with items that can help them going through the grieving process. It contains items to make footprints, handkerchiefs, a book, forget-me-not seeds, a brochure with information, picture frames, a tiny baby blanket, and a lot more really useful items. They also organize events, counseling groups, etc. They work with a lot of volunteers, and all the support and care they offer is for free. Because we are so grateful for the comfort we found in the things we got from them, we want to do something back. We already gave a donation ourselves, but I thought it would be nice too if we could top that with the sale of the pattern. So she is offering it on Etsy as a download, a PDF download. Now, yesterday, I spoke briefly about Deborah's pattern yesterday. You can find Deborah on Instagram at Surrey Mini. And I will link to her page in the drop-down box below. I will also link directly to this PDF that you can purchase in support of this organization. And frankly, her chart is so meaningful and so beautiful. I know that I know there are many people in who would derive a lot of comfort from this. So yesterday, thanks to Janada. I hope I'm saying your name right. You've become a very familiar commenter to me, viewer, friend to me. I recognize your comments as they come up. I always enjoy your signing off, walk in peace, Janata. It really makes me smile every time, so thank you. Janata asked me yesterday, she pointed out that the link that I had provided in yesterday's drop-down box did not link directly to the pattern that you could purchase. It just linked to the picture of the pattern. So I have corrected that in yesterday's video now, but also I will put that in again in today's drop-down box. So a beautiful, you know, special memorial for Deborah and her partner's son. Okay. So a few other stitchy bits to share with you today. I have, like yesterday, my modern folk embroidery rule of life pattern that I've been working on. I think when did we start the stitch along for that? June 18th. Deborah B has already finished hers. She shared it on the Facebook group a couple of days ago, and it's spectacular. Deborah, you did a beautiful job. It looks amazing. And mine is on my floor frame at home. I didn't feel like taking it all apart because I want to work on it again tonight when I get home. So I did take a little bit of a video clip to share where my progress is at. So I'll just pop that in right here. So I'm stitching that on a 28 count. The linen is it's an unreleased Leo&Roxy linen. I have asked Carrie, eventually I will hope to have some in the shop, but I don't have any right now. It was sort of a prototype of a color. So I'm stitching, it's a 28 count linen with the called for Leo&Roxy flosses. And I haven't stitched a lot on 28 count over the last 10 years. And I have to tell you, I am loving it at the moment because both of my projects, both of my new starts, the Spring Quakers piece and the Modern Folk Embroidery Rule of Life, they're both on a 28 count. 2 strands over 2. And the stitches are so satisfying. They're nice and plump. It feels like a ton of progress in a short amount of time because it feels so big compared to, you know, stitching on 40 or 46 count, even 36 count. So it's been a ton of fun. It's been really, really fun watching it, what feels like it's growing rather quickly. Whereas really, I've probably only just finished that one, that motif down in the bottom left corner. Has been mostly what I've been working on the last few days. So, but yeah, it's been really a ton of fun to stitch. I want to stitch all of Jacob's patterns. I'll just put that out here right now. Anything that Jacob designs, I want to stitch it all. So that's my Rule of Life, my progress on Rule of Life. The other stitch along that I'm co-hosting at the moment is the Rosewood Manor Spring Quakers Leo&Roxy conversion chart. So here's the pattern. This is the original. It is charted for Valdani floss and looks like that. And I don't know how this color is going to turn up on the screen. So my fabric, actually, it's not terrible. And sorry, it's so wrinkled, but this is Leo&Roxy. It's a colorway called On Taupe of Her Game. And it's a taupe with a sort of dusty rose kind of undertone and some green modeling on the fabric. So the modeling, because it's a hand dye, you know, the modeling really varied wildly from piece to piece. So it was really a fun cutting it up and preparing it, like serging it to, it's sold out at the moment, but preparing it for sending out into the world was really, really fun because everybody's piece looked, you know, different, and imagining what the stitching would look like on all of it was really quite fun. So this is, again, like I said, it's a Leo&Roxy. I'm going to just carefully move my coffee here. Always a good idea. And it is a Leo&Roxy floss conversion. It's a set of 14, 12 colors total, and then 2 of the greens are repeated. So there's my progress. What I might do is, when I'm editing this, if you can't see it very well, the colors, then I will, I don't know, maybe I'll take an extra little video clip of it because it really is so pretty. So, so pretty. And the lighting in here is so terrible. So terrible. Everything looks different under this light, you know, like I'm looking at the floss colors and I'm like, that's not the real color of that floss. It's really strange how much lighting can affect that. So yeah, as you can see, I did start down in the bottom left corner. So I have fully completed these 3 motifs. No, these 2 are completely done. And then this 3rd one here, I'm almost done that one. So it has been a ton of fun to stitch. So I'm co-hosting this with Libby of CheekyMare. Floss tube. You can find her again. I've just kept linking to her in every video because we're co-hosting this stitch along, and she is way ahead of me. She's using a different linen, so it's actually really cool because you can see she's done hers. I actually don't know the name of her fabric, but it's more of a green, and I think there's less modeling on her fabric, and so hers is a cooler fabric and mine is more of a warmer fabric color. And it's really interesting to see how the floss plays on both fabrics. So again, go and check out her YouTube and her Instagram channel. She's got her Instagram page. She has some decent photographs of her progress so far. She's way ahead of me. She started in the top left corner. So I think she has a lot of this first page. I think actually she's done this whole page. And it's nice to see it on a different fabric, what it looks like as well. Such a beautiful chart. I'm really happy that I'm finally stitching. I have a bit of a storied past with these Rosewood Manor Quakers, in that I had 2 attempts at the winter Quaker and it just didn't pan out. So I have been asked, people have asked if I'm going to do conversions for the other Quakers, and that is, I will eventually, but I'd like to completely stitch the spring Quakers before I do another big scale conversion like this, because I'd like it to be done. And I'd like all of the Quakers to sort of complement each other. So I'd like a little bit more time to think about the next conversion, and hopefully convince Carrie to get on board to do some more fabric for them as well, because that was really, really fun. So yeah, spring Quakers, it's coming along. It is coming along. So that's it for my stitching whips that I wanted to share with you today. I have a little bit more that I still want to share and talk about, but again, like I said yesterday, I knew these videos would just get unwieldy long. And trying to edit them just takes so long, and then you know, if I want to try and do more frequent videos, they're just gonna have to not be like hour-and-a-half long marathon sessions. So I have some more to share. I also have some more knitting to share, but I'll save that for another day. A few other things to show off, more along the shop lines of things. I have just popped in a new modern folk embroidery. Well, it's not a new modern folk embroidery pattern. The pattern's been around for a while on Jacob's website. You can purchase this pattern from Jacob's website as a PDF copy. It's called Red Berries, A Christmas Greeting. Now, back when I brought in the Rule of Life charts, I popped in a few of these into my box as well, because I love Jacob. Like, again, like I said, I want to stitch all of his charts, but his small charts, they're so fun to stitch because they're fairly quick and there's only 1 or 2 colors, so they just feels like they fly, and they're just really interesting and sweet designs. They always appeal to my sort of level of comfort stitching that I'm always looking for. So if you have never tried a modern folk embroidery chart, I can't recommend them highly enough. They are so fun, so much fun to stitch. So I've got a couple of the smalls that I've shared on this channel before that I've finished. In case you've never seen these ones before, I thought I would just show them off. So this is my Distelfink. No, it's not. I'm fibbing. This is the bird on a Quaker grapevine. Bird on a oh dear, sorry. I will pop in the name right on the screen here, and I will link to it in the drop down box below. You can find this over on Jacob's shop page. I will link directly to this chart in the box below. And this is so much fun. You can take any fabric, any floss in your stash, and bingo bango, you've got a finish before you know it. So what did I do this on? This was a 36 count silk weaver. I think it's called Silver Moon. I'm not sure. It's very, very lightly dyed. And it's the floss that I used is a Leo&Roxy floss called My Funny Valentine. Now, this is a really highly variegated floss, my Funny Valentine, and it was super fun to stitch with. And I think I used, even 36 count, this was 2/2, I did need more than one skein. So I would, if you're using an overdyed specialty cotton, I would definitely purchase 2 skeins of whatever color you choose. This, because it's a highly variegated color, and each hank turns out a little bit differently, the hank that I currently have carded up and am sending out is a little bit different than the one I stitched mine on. So if I had purchased my Funny Valentine currently, I probably wouldn't have chosen this fabric, because in this variegated card, some of the grays and the pale pinks are a little bit more, there's a little bit more of those sort of lighter colors in these particular skeins. So I would probably have chosen a more, you know, neutral brown sort of fabric with this particular variegated, rather than this really sort of light colored fabric. But you know, that's kind of the whole fun of choosing something from your stash, because if you really like that floss, then maybe you've got a different fabric in your stash that you can use. So, like I said, these small little charts are so much fun. The other one that I finished recently was Jacob's. This is the Distelfink heart. This one, I've shown this one off a lot because it took me a little bit longer than the bird on a grapevine. And, oh, it's just so pretty. So the linen that I used is actually, the colorway is called Dirty Linen. I think that's Picture This Plus. Not exactly sure, but it's called Dirty Linen. I know that. And I used, the 2 Leo&Roxy flosses that I used were Wisteria and Iris. And so I love, the original chart just calls for one color. And so I did add, I made it a duo color because, well, do you follow, have you heard of Tabitha Brown? Tabitha Brown on, I follow her both on Instagram and on Facebook, because she has got to be one of the most positive people I have ever encountered on social media. And she just makes you smile. So her name is Tabitha Brown, in case that expression, you've been living under a rock and you don't know who she is. Tabitha Brown, she has an expression that she says, and she says, that's your business and that's my business. I wanted to make it a duo color because, well, that's my business. And I love it. I love it so much. So when I brought in the Rule of Life charts, I tucked a few of these into my box as well. There might be one other pattern as well, but I'm going to save that for another rainy day. So this is called Red Berries, A Christmas Greeting, and I have wanted to stitch this chart for ages, and so I thought, now's my chance. And I've kitted it up. I think I kitted up 24 sets because I only brought in 24 charts. And I did, if you little heads up, if you follow my shop page on Instagram @evertotes, I will sometimes pop up a little heads up that I've put something new in the shop, and so you'll sort of get first crack at whatever I've sort of loaded in there if it's a smaller quantity. So I'm going to use these two colors. So this is Dark Sage, and this is a color called Cheeky. And I just think they look so pretty together. So I think they might be half gone already, but there's at least 15 sets left in the shop still. And it is a physical booklet chart. If you don't want a physical booklet chart, I would highly recommend you get I am never going to be selling Jacob's PDFs. I was asked this the other day. Jacob's PDFs are exclusive to his shop. So if you want to stitch from a PDF, head right over to his shop. And I will be carrying more and more of the physical booklet charts. I've actually created a modern folk embroidery button right in the shop because, well, I can't see that I'm going to stop carrying or wanting to stitch Jacob's stuff. So he gets his very own button in the shop. So the set includes the physical chart and 4 skeins of floss. So you know I'm going to be starting that too. So I just have to find a piece of fabric. It's a really it's a pretty easy one. I think that most of us would have something that would be suitable in our stash. Just a really neutral, a neutral brown, probably a lighter brown, but definitely a brown would go really nicely with that floss. I think something a little lighter than the dirty linen color, a little lighter than that. So I'll have to see, but maybe darker than in like an ecru color. So something a little more on the taupe, tan, brown side of things. So yeah, so that's it. I better get going. Coffee break is most definitely over now, and I have some July bag of the month club bags to finish up sewing this afternoon. So I'm gonna get to that, and I'll try to check in. I probably won't be able to put up a video tomorrow, but maybe I'll pop in a short one on Saturday and share my knitting with you. So yeah, knitting, Caroline shawl. There's a knit along sort of slash, there will be a giveaway from Josh. I've got a photo of the yarn that she has available for giveaway. It is, oh, it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. There's some cashmere yarn that's going to be up for grabs, and Josh is willing to ship it anywhere to whoever wins this lucky prize. So if you are participating, if you're participating in the Caroline Knit Along shawl, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, my friend Josh Mol from the Netherlands is a knitwear designer, and she designed a shawl pattern and named it after me. And I am knitting it. I've been knitting it for a while. It's undergone a few transformations, but I think I finally hit upon the one that I'm gonna go with. And if you would like to join me in that, you can find the chart on Ravelry. And if you are participating in knitting the shawl, or if you've already knit one, please send me an email, caroline@evertote.com, and I will keep everybody's names into a separate folder where we can keep track of who is participating in this, and then your names will go into the hat for the draw of some yarn. So more on that in a few days. So until then, until I can pop in again and have a little visit, I hope that you're well, I hope that you're safe, and that you have some crafting to enjoy over the next few days. And yeah, stay safe, everybody. Happy stitching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.